Hello, I'm Micks Mowers, the Merman, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this mini chainsaw slash pruner, which has been sent to me by a company called Seesii. Lots of companies manufacture these little tiny battery-powered chainsaw stroke pruners. And this is one of the lower end markets compared to your higher ends like Stihl, Husqvarna, and what have you. So a company got hold of me and said, we'd like to have this free for review, give it a review, let us know what you think, do a video of it, put some links out there in the comment section and what have you. And if you can do that, I'll be as happy as Larry. So he says, yeah, that's fine, I'll do that. So when these first initially came out, I wasn't impressed with them. Not this particular brand, but a lot of the ones I've seen before, some of the design was quite poor, but it does look like they're cottoning on to the big boys and they're starting to copy some of their designs and especially the safety features. This piece of equipment, although it is a pruner, it is still a chainsaw effectively. So it does have a cutting blade, a cutting chain that turns round and round on a bar, and you are subject to injury if you do not take the correct precautions. Now, I have seen, and I will point it out in the video, some of the people using some of the PPE that are in here, and they're not designed for it. They're just not designed for it. So what I've got, a pair of chainsaw gloves, left and right hand, and the right hand, the left hand is the one that goes nearer the chain, which has got much more protection. So they're Oregon. I've got a pair of chainsaw trousers on as well, Class A's, and I've also got, which is what I had when I was at work on the railway, because it belonged to the forestry bit on the railway. Eye protection, ear protection, and just a sun vest, and getting stuff down the back of your neck. So just be mindful that if you are using these pieces of equipment, look after your own health and safety. That's what I'm saying. Now, it is only a pruner, but that chain is still going around that bar, and you are subject to being cut wide open with a chainsaw. The result is the same whether you're using one of these pruners or using a proper big chainsaw. The result is the same. So just make sure that you take health and safety correctly and wear at least some decent PPE. So let's have a quick look inside the box, see what it contains, see what it do, see what it don't. Now I'm going to be using this to top out my conifers eventually, but initially I'm going to get some branches down just to show you how it cuts, and then I can then get on and do that job in my own time. But in this video I'm going to show you how to unbox it, how to operate it, how to cut with it, what I think, what I like, what I don't like, and we'll go from there. If this is the first time watching Micks Mowers and Merman, hit the subscribe button, whack the old bell, set notifications to all. That way you'll find some upload of the video. So without further ado, let's get down dirty. Let's unbox this Seesii chainsaw mini pruner, and we'll go from there. Right, let's see what you get in the box. So you get a nice hard-shelled storage container to store all your stuff in. It looks like you get some form of instructions, how-to guide, user manual. You get a spare bar. This is an 8-inch bar, so it's the same. Yeah, so it's an 8-inch cut. So you should be able to cut 8-inch pieces of timber with this, okay? Because generally you go by the length of the bar is roughly how much you can cut, but obviously you only have about 6 inches because the rest of the bar is here, so you might only have 6 inches there. I will measure that in a minute to see actually what you've actually got from the actual tip to the cutting face. So I get 8 inches out. So yeah, 8-inch is actually what you can cut because it's actually a 10-inch bar, okay? So you can actually cut with an 8-inch piece of timber with this. It comes with its own charger, okay? It also comes with two, count them two, 21 volt, normally 20 volts, but 21 volt lithium ion batteries. Got an indicator on the back. Now these came fully charged, so it will tell you in increments how much your charge is decreasing just by pushing the button, okay? That's good. It comes with a set of glasses. Now what I will say straight off the bat is looking at the actual instructions on here, there's no approving stamp on here like you would generally find. I'm not seeing no CE numbers. I can see a manufacturer number just there, but it's not a CE number. There's no marking on the glass to say that these are approved. It comes with a little tiny empty oil chain bar oiler. Okay, It comes with a spare chain. Now these chains are actually 1/4 inch chains, so you can get these from your local shop. This isn't a special chain we have to keep buying from them. You can actually get these made in your local, or buy these in your local chainsaw shop. It comes with these. Don't know quite what these are. I think these are what butlers use when they're making tea. But it's one size fits all. So my fingers come down to here. So that's actually my knuckle, and my end of my finger is there. So they don't actually fit. They're not any good for anything other than maybe maintenance. Just doing maintenance, i.e. cleaning, sharpening, that sort of stuff. That would be about as far as I'd like to go with these. They're not much good to me. I'd much rather have a decent set of chainsaw gloves when handling the chain, okay? But that's just me, okay? I have seen some videos of some people actually using these whilst operating this piece of equipment, and it's not a good idea. Not really, not if you value your fingers. So you get 2 lithium-ion batteries, as I say, which is good. Both of mine are fully charged up. Now here's your actual piece of kit. Let me get the toolbox out the way, and I'll come back to you in 2 seconds. Right, so let's have a quick little look through the specifications and the how-to guide. It says don't use this bit of equipment if you're tired or if you're drunk. Pretty much that's what it says. Battery care it's got in there. And then under specifications, mine's the CH820. It weighs 5.18 pounds. Standard guide bar length is 8 inches. Battery capacity is of 4,000 amp hour. Charging time is around 3 to 4 hours. Run times around 30 to 40 minutes per battery. It's got number of teeth on the chain 22. The pitch is 1/4. Its chain speed of 6 ms, and the oil capacity is a 30 ml capacity there. It's got all. It is quite an in-depth sort of instruction manual, to be fair. It's got all the information you should need. It tells you how to loosen it, how to tighten the chain, how to change the chain, all that sort of good stuff. It's got all the information in there. Looks to be quite comprehensive, which is quite nice to see, because a lot of the machines I've seen don't come with a comprehensive diagram. So when I'm doing this video, you'll note that my battery is off, and the trigger will work, but nothing will happen because the battery's off. I have seen some videos of people actually doing this with the battery on and doing this, and it's just not the thing to do. So when you're handling the machine and it's not in work mode, just remove the battery. It has got as features, it comes with a scabbard for your little chain and bar there. Chain seems to be set relatively correctly. I can get just around about 3 3¼ bits off of the chain bar, so the chain is set roughly correctly. Comes with a little tiny spring loaded, and this is one of the features I have seen before. Others people don't have a spring loaded guide on here. Others just flap around in the wind, and it's no good for nothing. As you're cutting through the timber, obviously that guard will come up, and that is what's protecting your hand from falling onto the chain. So good to see a spring loaded guard on there. The oil capacity, as it says, is 30 ml. You put it straight into there. Now the only slightly negative thing with this is it is a manual pump. So unlike some of the bigger brands, you just put your oil in, away you go. This one here, as you're cutting, you might have to just depress a little bit of oil just to oil your chain up. If you don't oil your chain up and your bar, then it's going to get hot, it'll expand, the chain will stretch, and all that stuff will happen nasty. So, but it has got a manual feed. It'd be nice the automatic feed on there, but it hasn't got one. It's quite nice in the hand. To be fair, it could be better with a slightly longer stem. I've got quite big hands, and my hand does fit in there, but it is quite pushing it up against the bottom of the battery cover there. If you've got little hands, that's okay, but you know, it's pros and cons for some and some not, you know what I mean? So that's okay. To tighten the chain, all you have to do is just simply loosen this little chappy off here slightly, and then they have put a Phillips head in there, okay? Normally it's a flat head, but there's a little tiny Phillips head just there, okay? And what you do is with the battery off, you just loosen this guard up slightly, just so your chain's a bit loose, or your bar's a bit loose. Then you just put a screwdriver down into there, nip that up a little tiny bit, do this bit up behind it, and then always make sure you can get roughly three links coming off of the bar. That's roughly where you want it. If it's too tight, then it's just going to cause excessive wear onto your bar. I have noticed here there's also a hole this end here, but there is no oiler feature that I can see. That bar looks to be quite solid. Normally you have an oil feeder in here just to put a bit of oil in the top of the bar to allow your sprocket to get oil, but there's not one on this. But apart from that, that's what you've got. So we now put a battery in. It goes on backwards, so to speak, like that, rather than going around the other way. My battery is fully charged up, okay? So now, because I'm going to operate this piece of equipment, and it may seem just a little bit over top, Mick, but this is a chainsaw. It definitely is a chainsaw, okay? And it's just, ask me how I know. I've got to cut the kneecaps, which show some scars of chainsaws in my past. So whilst operating this piece of equipment, it's best to have your PPE on, and also your safety glasses and or goggles or mesh net, okay? And all you do is it's got a safety fixture here, push that button in, and the chain will the trigger will operate. Without pushing the button in, nothing should happen. So to test that, so no trigger availability there. Push the little button in and then pull the trigger. And away it goes. It's quite light, to be fair. It's quite agile. What I like about these is that this does give you the opportunity to actually cut and hold at the same time. So if you're holding a branch and you're cutting, you can do that, but that's where accidents will happen, because a chainsaw, I was always told with a chainsaw, you never take your two hands off of the saw at any time. But this is a pruner, so it's slightly different, okay? Just be mindful where that hand is going, okay? If you slip, what could happen to that hand? And this glove is protected with special gauze in there to jam the chain should your hand go anywhere near it. I don't think the gloves that they've supplied, my butler's gloves, are going to hold anything. You know, the chances are that chain will go straight through them gloves, whereas a decent pair of gloves you can get from Screwfix or wherever. They're not expensive. They're about 20 quid. They're not expensive, and that will stop that without a doubt. So make sure you got it in place. But all in all, it looks to be like a fair bit of kit. Okay. I'll be leaving links down below in the comment section and in the description where you can buy these. I'm not making any money out of it. Literally, they sent it to me to say, Mick, give it a go. Tell me what you honestly think. I will give pros and I will give cons. Don't forget, they're my pros and cons, and they may be different for you if you're slightly bigger than me, slightly smaller than me, or however you are. But what I will say is, when operating any type of chainsaw or pruning equipment, just do a little bit of research. Right? Don't just go out, buy it, and away you go. Just look into a couple of videos and just see how to use it correctly, how to use it safely, because one of the main things you don't want to be doing with this piece of equipment is using it above your head, okay? Simple as that, because if it does kick back at all, it can come back and hit you straight in the chops, or if it's up on the top and you fall over, you can actually land on that, and the first thing you do when you fall is you clench. First thing you do, and you don't want that blade running, so don't ever put it above your head. If you're going to be working off of ladders, anything like that, or steps, make sure there's someone with you and make sure the area is clean. Or just use your common sense, people, is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? It doesn't look like a big bit of kit, right? But if it can cut through an 8-inch bit of timber, it cut through your leg. It's as simple as that, okay? Right, so that is pretty much my safety chat done. I'm going to remove the battery, and that's just done just by pushing a little tiny red tab in there, as you do on most battery things. And I'm going to fill up my my chain bar reservoir with chain oil. I've got some just over there because they don't send you any in their nice little tub, which would have been nice to see some in there, but you don't get any. But hey ho, that's what it is. So I'm going to fill it up, and then I'll get a couple of logs off this conifer tree I'm cutting down. I've got a decent saw over there, and I bought a log stand. So I'm going to just cut through with a log stand, show you what it does, how it copes with it, and we'll go from there. All right. But before we do that, I also want to show you how to change a bar. Now, I've not done one before on here, so let's have a little look. Just going to loosen up this little tiny tab just here, okay? Loosen that up. Take that off, and that should give you the access to this little tiny bit here. Now, if you find it's not coming up, what you might have to do, if I do actually supply a little Phillips screwdriver, what you might have to do, don't get my batteries taken off, guys, okay? You might have to loosen this little tiny adjuster up, okay, just anti-clockwise, just so it's loose. And that way, that should then give you the little tiny guard, okay? So that's because there's too much tension on here. Now, the tensioner will actually be behind here. That's your tensioner, okay? And that just tensions the bar that way there. Now, once you, if you've got a blunt chain and you want to change the chain, okay? Once you take it off the chain, just make sure you take it off first, and then just lay your bar down how it came off, okay? Then you can either sharpen your chain, throw it away, do whatever you want to do. Take it down to the shop. It's got all the information on here, so that your local shop, and I've got a place called D&M Chainsaw, which is fantastic, and they can just give you a brand new chain for this, so that's no problem. Once you've got your new chain, or you sharpened it, whatever you want to do, when you put it back, just turn the bar over, okay? And every time you sharpen or change the chain, just change the bar over, okay? It just promotes equal wear on the top, bottom, and on the end of the bar. Otherwise, you don't get a bit of a banana inside your bar. Once you're ready to put your bar and chain back on, the only important bit to remember is the teeth. And these are the teeth just here. They're the teeth, okay? The teeth always face the front. So don't put your chain on like that, because it won't do anything, okay? The teeth always face the front. It sounds silly, but you'll be surprised how many people get it wrong. And what I would recommend doing is just literally put that on the end of a bar, feed it all the way down through, and then just slip it in to place over the sprocket at the back. Right, now once you've got it to there, you're roughly where you need to be. Just slide the bar out and put all the teeth into the bar. Right, roughly there. So it's just like that. Hold it into position, and then get your little tiny cover, slide it into place, like so. Now what you're looking for this bar to get inside the adjuster. You're looking for this bit here to fit in that hole there. That's what we're looking for, okay? Now if it doesn't, you might just adjust it back slightly. Let's put it in. I think mine's gone down. So I'm going to loosely do this nut up, loosely, and then I'm just going to tighten this little tiny screw back up. Do it a bit at a time, because what you don't want to do is it for it to go too much. Now this adjuster's not gone in the space, so I can see it hasn't. So I'm just going to loosen that nut up. What's it want? It wants to be loosened first, Mick. So we loosen it up so it slides down through. It's just gone in now, I can feel it. And then I can put my little tiny nut back on. So make sure your adjuster is sat just inside the bar, just down there. Okay, that's where it is. As I say, just pull it out a touch slightly, and then just start to tighten up your bar adjuster. And when you get to where you want it to be, a little tiny tug on it. That's a little bit too loose. A little bit at a time. A bit more, Mick. That doing me. I can then tighten this nut up. Tighten that down. Now that's stopping the bar from actually slipping. Okay, and as you can see, that's actually just a little bit too tight. Now I've done it up. And it's important that the bar has plenty of room to move. Not too slack and not too tight. It doesn't want a lot. That's it. Let's try and tighten. It looks like as you tighten that up, that actually takes a bit of slack up. Yeah, it does. Okay. So now you go, nice and loose where you want it to be. Okay, but you can hold about three of the chain links out the bottom of the bar. That's about right. So that's how you change your bar and your chain, how you sharpen, all that sort of good stuff. That's how you do that. Just make sure when you do it, there's no battery connected to the back of it. Otherwise, you could be for a little bit of surprise. If you just lean on the piece of equipment, you know what I'm going to say, you lose your fingers. All the time you've got no battery in it, you're at no risk of actually cutting yourself. So that maybe is where these gloves might come in handy, just to handle the chain. But don't ever do it with the battery on the end of it. Right, let me get some oil in here, and we'll go from there. Right, oiling. No battery on the machine, and I'm going to loosen off this little tiny cap. That comes off. And what you'll have to do with the bottle they provided, if you're going to use that, is just cut the end off, okay? Because the end's got a tiny stopper on there, so just cut that off, right? And then there should be a window, a spyglass on this side here. And as you fill your thing up with oil, you should be able to see the oil coming up all the way. And it looks to me like it's a 30ml reservoir and you get 30ml bottle, so that can't be far wrong, can it? So I'll top it up all the way. That was a bottle, it wasn't my bum. And that'll do. So now, when we operate the machine, we just put a little bit of oil through the primer. There it goes. And that's it. Now priming the the bar inside, and you should start to see oil coming out through here somewhere. I'd be interested to see if there's any oil coming out. I don't see any yet. Yeah, there it is, yeah, that's it. So it is actually pumping oil through. It's had about 6 pumps and there's oil coming through there now. And it will start to show on a reservoir how much you've used. So just make sure that you do keep oiling this device as you're using it. There's it all there. See, look, it's just come out. Yeah. So it is running it out. And it will now pay you to get a quick little whiz to get that bar nice and oiled before you put it to wood. So, right, let me get it all hooked up, go outside. I'll cut some branches down and then I'll show you how it performs. Okay, so I have literally just cut down a couple of lumps off of a conifer, and it's probably around about a 4 to 5 inch in girth from the actual trunk itself. So just want to show you very quickly the capabilities of this bit of kit. So if we just take just a little spindly bit for now. Don't forget, this is actually a pruner, so it's not actually designed for felling trees. It's actually a pruner. So I have purchased off of I think this was Amazon, a little log holding device. That was about 29 quid. It was no more than that. Okay. But just make sure that make so that your wood is secure in the vise. It's not going to go anywhere. So now's the time to adorn your eye protection, if you've got any. And you can put ear protection on, but these battery powered bits of kit are designed to be quieter. So I've got my gloves on. I've got chainsaw trousers on, Class A's, chainsaw boots on. And I'm just going to start to cut away now. So a couple of pumps of oil, and then just set it to work. Now as it cuts, this is where I like the pruner, because you can actually use your other hand to guide the timber out the way. So let's just see what I'm doing now. Operating the piece of equipment with it in my hand. It is the potential for a safety hazard. So try and put it down if you can, but just to try and simulate some of the cuts. Once it's got it, see how the guard flips up, comes to there, the guard's doing its work. And the idea of this is that you can prune these trees back to small enough lumps so that you are actually able to put these. So the advantage with this is, what I like about it, is you can cut these pieces up small enough to go into your recycle bin, if you've got one, and also big enough if you're going to the tip. When you get to a bit of an obscure piece of timber, you can bring it round the other way, put it down, pick up your tool, and just cut them small limbs away with relative ease, and you're just left with your core log, okay? And all your little pieces, if that's what you was cutting up off of a tree, you can just hold up by hand, and this is where this hand comes in handy with protection. You can just literally feed that alongside. But one of the golden rules with a chainsaw is always keep both hands on the saw at all times. And this is the only sort of downside to having a pruner, is that this hand is always free and it's busy working. And you have to be mindful that you have this tool in the other hand. It's not a negative. This is just where people with a bit of common sense should use these bits of equipment, and people without any need to watch videos. Just make sure this left hand, because I'm right-handed, is kept busy, but it's always been told not to touch the anywhere near the chain. Okay, let's get a slightly thicker piece out if we can. So this bit's slightly thicker. Let's put that into the jig. Now they say 30 to 40 minute run time. I'm assuming that's per battery. So that goes into the old log holder. And then this one's slightly thicker, not by a lot. But straight away I'm having problems putting it into the log holder because there's two branches there. So I'm just going to cut one of these branches away. There's a bit of brush in there. Disconnect the battery. Just give that a little tiny clean. And then put the battery back on. Right, now we just clean this log up a little bit, just so it's more workable for us. And then we can put the core log, see that's that one hand again there, see? Put the device down, it's easier, just put it down whilst you're manipulating the wood. A little bit of an oil squirt going on. Just make sure you've got plenty of oil going through the chain. And this is about a 3 inch piece here with ease. It cuts the little tiny bits off with ease. So this is what I do, I'll put it straight into my recycle bin for Friday and the bin men can come and take it away. So it actually saves going to the tip in many ways. Nice small lumps. And then the even smaller bits, if you wanted to chip it, you could do with a chipper. If you've got a chipper, chip it up. So I'm getting to the end of this bit now, so just going to nip up the bits that need to be. Being conscious where my hand is at all times. Now, can you do an undercut with this as well? Let's have a little look. Well, an undercut. It doesn't like it, but it is possible. You have to just watch the kicking back, and that's where the trousers come in handy. So a lot of these types of machines, they come with an anti, see that kicking, see that kick? Well, that's when accidents happen, if you're not watching it, what you're doing. Okay, so just be mindful. Put the machine down. Let's get this bigger bit up now. This bit's probably going to be about 5 inches. Let's put my log into there, pull my trousers up. And we'll just cut the bits off first, a bit of an oil. Don't forget to oil up as you go. So just going to get rid of these little tiny bits. Always try and make sure that when you're cutting, you're using the full width of a blade of a bar of chain. Don't just use the end like a saw. Bring it right in close, okay? Always make sure you're using the full width of it. A bit of an odd bit here. I'm going to cut that bit off down the back here. Get rid of that. All right. And so, using the full width of a chain, bring it down. There's no dogs in here. Let the chain do the work. Don't force it. The chain can do it. Just let the chain do the work. Just encourage it. Over the top. Then bring it back. Let it cut the back side. And away it goes. Bit of oil. Now normally using a bow saw, two-handed piece of equipment, you'll struggle with that, but this little tiny pruner, I've got to say, actually is not doing too bad a job. You've got two batteries, and that's the cross-cut method you want to be using, is allowing the chain to do the work, is to reach over the front The only problem with this is you have got this motor on this side here. So when we want to cut there, that'd be cutting drunk. So you'd have to come around the other side and use it in your left hand. It doesn't state it's left or right hand operable, but we'll see how we get on. Bring the chain over the top, bring it back, let it work its way down. That way you're only cutting one half of the log at any one time. Now I've got to say, for a piece of equipment which is designed for the home user, you'll be alright with this. And this is freshly cut timber, so it's nice and wet. It's not a dry timber. There's lots of sap in here. And we're working it. So all these bits are going to your recycle bin. So on a live piece of timber, I've got a silver birch here, couple of branches here. Now remember what I said about not going above your head height, okay? Anything above your head, right up here, you're just asking for trouble. If it comes back, now that's why it's got this guard here. If it comes back, bumps on the head, that guard will protect you. Also, I've got a hard hat on, so I'm a little bit more safety conscious in that respect with a chainsaw. If it didn't have a guard on, or you're cutting this way, you'll be amazed how many people do that. It comes forward after you've cut, you'll be in trouble. So just make use of the safety guards and never really cut really above your head. Just take your own responsibility, you know what I mean? So cut a limbs here, they can come off. To see how quick, that's just making so short work of that. So for a little tiny one-hand pruning, you can really tide up a tree quite quick. Right, so that is the review of the Seesii 8-inch pruning chainsaw, okay? Pros and cons. For me, this is subjective, don't forget. Pros and cons are, I wish it had a automatic oil feeder on it. I wish it had that. It would have been nicer if the safety guard here, this bit here, actually had a piece that came out just here, because as you're cutting, you have this tendency to reach over and do stuff. So if I had a little bit of a guard poking out that way, that'd be great too, but not a necessity. It comes with two 21-volt batteries. That's a plus for me. Comes with 2 chains. That's a plus for me. You can reorder the chains at any decent chainsaw place. You can do it. That's fine. So happy with that. The spring-loaded guard on the top. Happy with that. The ease of changing the chain, tightening the chain. Happy with that. Just wish it had a flathead screw in there rather than a Phillips, because you can there's a bit more meat on a screw. I don't know how long it'd be before that little that Phillips bolt sort of sharpens off. One other thing is when you're oiling, if you over oil and you're cutting, then what can happen, it can come out of here and go down towards these vents, towards the motor, so just keep an eye on that. But all in all, for a piece of equipment which was actually cut up to 8-inch logs, yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with it. I'm not just saying it because I got it for free, but I can use this around my garden, no problem at all. And in case you're wondering, the mark on my head is not from a chainsaw, that's from a loft. I banged my head on the loft the other day. Safety features on there, happy with that. That all seems to be good, it all works. I was thinking it was overheating and cutting out earlier on, but it wasn't. It's just when that's quite a touch sensitive switch, that is. And when you're used to using a petrol chainsaw, you can hear the revs, but that's quite touch sensitive there, so it didn't cut out on me at all. The last battery I had in it, after videoing, it was down to 1 battery, so however long the video is, probably about half an hour. That battery lasted about half an hour of not solid cutting, but within review. So about 20 minutes, half hour, something like that. And now just using the second battery just to tide up what I've been using. Other tips and tricks is I would definitely only recommend these gloves here for just cleaning and maintaining. That's all. If you're going to be operating the piece of equipment, then don't operate it with them gloves. Go onto Amazon, eBay, wherever it is you go, and get yourself a pair of decent chainsaw gloves. These are designed, especially this one, is designed to take impact from a chain. It's designed to do that, and this one is designed when you're operating. If a chain flicks back, it will take that. Okay. Eye protection is a must. I wouldn't use a set of goggles they're supplied. I'd just get yourself a hard hat. It protects your head anyway, with a mesh screen on top, so that protects any foreign objects coming towards your face. You only get one pair of eyes, and mine comes with ear protection anyway. Chainsaw trousers is a must. If you're going to be using it properly, grab a pair of chainsaw trousers. I got these from Screwfix. They're about 50 quid. They're worth a lot of money. These are a class A, so they've got protection all the way around the legs, just in case you're walking with a piece of equipment and it you know, starts up. If it hits your leg and you've got a pair of shorts on and flip-flops, you're never going to forgive yourself. So a pair of chainsaw trousers, they're a must. 50 quid, you're good to go. If you don't wear any of the PPE and an accident happens, you've only got yourself to blame. If you're wearing PPE and an accident happens, then at least you can try and protect yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. So common sense should prevail. If you don't know how to use or operate a chainsaw, seek advice or watch videos first is what I recommend doing. So there you go. Quick little video on the Seesii power chainsaw pruner 8-inch. I do a mini one too, apparently, a little tiny one like that. But just remember, if you're cleaning the machine, operate the machine in the shed or whatever whilst you maintain it, add that battery off whilst you're doing it. Don't ever do it with the battery turned on, just in case it powers up. So if you found this sort of video interesting and you liked it, then give me give me a big thumbs up, hit the old subscribe button, whack the old bell, set notifications to all. That way you find some up in the video, and I look forward to you guys on the next time. Micks Mowers very, very soon. In return, don't forget, much more importantly, take it easy.